Hello and welcome to another episode of Mum's the Word here on Channel Mum. This is the show where we tackle all the big issues to do with motherhood, the things that you might talk to your mummy friends about and the things that perhaps you haven't had a chance to talk about. We tackle all the big subjects. Now today we're talking about a very sensitive subject, gender disappointment. But before we go on to discuss that, I want to introduce you to the team. So we are here with the lovely Stacey, Emily, but we also have two very special guests today. First of all, we have baby Jackson, who, well, Emily gave birth on our Facebook page for Channel Mum. You can go and watch that video on the Channel Mum page. So I think that was the first Facebook Live baby
in the UK.
Really? So Jackson is a star. And we are of course joined by the lovely Sam Fairs. Hi. So before we talk about gender disappointment, let's go and see what some other mums think about this subject.
Since having our first son, we had a second son, and we've experienced so much gender disappointment from other people since then. So many people ask us, are you planning to have a third baby to try for a girl? And yeah, we are planning to have a third baby, but not because we want a girl. Like, I'd love a girl in the future, but if we have a third baby and it's a boy, great, I'm so happy. I love my boys. Boys are great. I don't understand what people's obsession with having a girl is.
I think disappointment is probably more common than we'd like to admit. I love having three boys, but there are definitely things that I really feel like I'm going to miss out on in life because I haven't got a girl. I'm never going to be mother of the bride, which is a biggie.
We were in a lift on holiday and I was about 8 months pregnant and I had both the boys with me, and there was an elderly lady in the lift and she looked at my bump and asked all the normal questions, you know, how far gone are you, how are you feeling? And then she said to me, oh, do you know what you're having? And I was like, yeah, we're having another boy. Clearly really, really happy with the fact that we're having another boy, you know, I was smiling. And then she looked at my bump, looked at me and said, oh, well, he's got time to change his mind before he comes out. And I couldn't quite believe what she said, and I don't think it quite clicked exactly what she said at first. To say to an expectant mum that hopefully the gender of her child would change before it comes out, yeah, that wasn't too pleasant, dear.
I'm currently pregnant again with baby number 2, and this time round I found it completely different. I found that I actually wanted another boy because I had a boy and I had such a great experience with a boy. We found out recently that we're having a girl, and in a way it made me feel quite relieved. I don't think we should feel that kind of pressure to have a certain gender.
We have now had 2 miscarriages, and I must say I am not as desperately wanting a boy as I was originally. I would be more thankful just to carry another baby, and I think I wouldn't be so bothered about whether it was a girl and a boy. Nick has already said he only wants to have 2 children. I would happily keep going until I got a boy.
I found out I was having a boy at my 20-week scan. I was in complete shock. I remember getting a taxi home from the hospital with my husband and just being like, what are we gonna do? I had my girl's name all picked out. It never even occurred to me that I should probably pick out a boy's name. There was a huge part of me that was like, oh. And now I have a 3-year-old boy, and I honestly do not know what I would do with a little girl. I am such a mum of a boy and I love it.
So quite interesting seeing all the mums there. I think there's a general theme that sort of if you've had one sex, people expect you to have the other one. And Jess saying, you know, when she was pregnant with her 3rd boy in the lift, that
was ridiculous.
So hopefully it'll come out to be a girl.
Change its
mind.
mind.
My God. Did we all find out the sex of the baby? Did you find out the boy was a boy? You did.
I kept it as a surprise, but I knew it was going to be a boy.
What, you just knew inside?
Just knew.
Yes, I was the same.
I just knew, like, and I would have been so surprised if I had had a girl. I was convinced. I don't know, I had a feeling. All those kind of old wives' tales, the string and all that, the Chinese chart, I'd done it all and it all came out to be a boy. But even before doing all that, I just knew.
Yeah, the moment I found out I was pregnant, I knew it was a boy.
Yeah.
You just do sometimes. It's weird,
yeah,
isn't it?
it's
Did
really
you want
weird.
a boy or you didn't?
Well, it's strange because where I've got Nellie as my niece, I was there at the birth up until now. I've been in her life like almost every single day. And, you know, I've had my sister, so I love that bond you have when you have, like, if I was to have a daughter. But I don't know, it's something about, I do want boys. Like,
do you?
I would like to have a little girl, but majority boys. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Emily, you've just
3
had
boys.
your 3rd boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had some experience.
Oh my gosh, I've had so many comments. I've even had comments since he's been born. Like people see me with my 3 boys and go, are you going to do Victoria Beckham and try and get the 4th to be a girl? And I think he's just been born, like, and he's beautiful, you know, like why
why would I feel like I need that? And we always wanted 3, but when I had 2 boys, everyone was like, are you gonna go for the 3rd? And then when I found out I was having a 3rd boy, so many people were like, oh, you poor thing, like really felt sorry for me. And I just,
So how did you feel? Did you want a girl? Or?
Well, I don't know. We've always said we wanted 3 children. So I think part of me, when I found out it was a 3rd boy, because I think I wanted a girl just to restore a bit of balance in the house. You know, I was just like, we're so outnumbered. It's all football and toilet humour in my house. So as a girly girl, I think I wanted a bit more balance, but I was still like thrilled that we can just be like, let's have another baby and it's healthy and it's, you know.
Because didn't you didn't your sonographer write down on a piece of paper?
Yeah, we did a surprise.
Yeah.
And then we got home and opened it at home together and like looked at what it was. And I think we filmed me doing that. And I think you can kind of see that I'm like, not grieving, that's a horrible word, but I'm kind of like, because it's my last baby, it was very like final. It was like, okay, right, I am just a mum of boys that, you know, I don't know. So I wasn't disappointed, but I was like in shock that I am so outnumbered.
I think it's okay that we say to each other that it's okay to be a bit disappointed maybe, because do you know what, I think it's actually really common. You've got one of each, Stacey. Did you have any disappointment at any time?
I think when I first got pregnant with my oldest Rika, I thought she was going to be a boy. I'd never see myself being a mum of a daughter. A bit like Sam, like I just like, oh, I don't know. I just felt like I always wanted little boys. I wasn't disappointed, I was shocked. A bit like, I was really shocked actually. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna be, or, you know, like I'm not a really girly girl either. So that was a bit like, I don't know how I'm gonna be. But no, I wasn't disappointed at all. And then when I had Jacob, my second, everyone keeps saying, oh, you've got 2, you're done. So it was like, oh, okay, I've got 2 kids now, you're finished.
No more.
You've got the perfect pair and that's it. And I think that's a bit of pressure as well.
I think it's the pressure. I think when I found out I was having a 3rd boy as well, I did think, oh God, I hope my family aren't like disappointed. You know, it's that pressure of wanting a girl for everyone. I don't know.
Well, I'm the oldest of 5 and I've got 4 younger brothers and I've got 2 nephews and I have a son. So there is no girls in our family at all. And literally people, they're now saying to me, when are you having another baby? And everyone's like, you need to have a girl. And I'm like,
you can't,
I
can't
just
predict.
But there is a little part of me that kind of, I haven't had a sister, I haven't got any nieces. I kind of would like to have that experience with a girl, but I also don't want to set myself up to be disappointed. Because if we have another one, it will be the last. And it's kind of like, it's all those things go through your head, isn't it? I'd like a girl, but I wouldn't want to go to a scan and then feel disappointed because I feel so guilty.
That's it.
It's really hard, isn't
You've all said you know when you're having your last. How do you know when you're having your last?
Oh, I'm just really old. No, not at all. No,
Do you just know?
My husband's like drawn the line.
Really?
I think Emily would carry her.
Do you have more?
I'd have more.
Yeah.
My husband always says, you can have more, but not with me. But so I think we're done. And 3 is quite a lot. You know, like financially, we've got the house, you know, and all that stuff.
Cars, you have to start going to get like massive cars.
Holidays. It all adds
I
up,
grew
doesn't
up
it?
one of 5 and it was chaotic.
Well,
it's lovely, but chaotic.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's very.
But it's a good thing. So I did a bit of research on this subject, and there's not a huge amount out there because I think it's a bit taboo. People don't necessarily, you know, sort of talk about it openly, but on a lot of forums and stuff, mums do go on and say, I'm really, really disappointed, I found out the gender and stuff. So it's more of a taboo subject at the moment. I found an article, it's old, it's from 2011, but basically there was a bit of a thing with some hospital trusts in the UK in 2011 who stopped doing gender scans. Well, not gender scans, you know the 20-week scan is the anomaly scan. And they were basically saying, we're not here for you to come and find out whether you're painting your nursery blue or pink, we're here to see how healthy your baby is and to pick up on anything that may be an abnormality. They also said it is costing the NHS more because it can take an extra 20 minutes on the scan to find the sex. And then there's the issue that it's not 100%. There was some sort of threatened litigation cases of people saying, you said I was having a girl and then I've had a boy. So a few hospital trusts around the UK were like, no, if you want this done, you either pay us an extra 50 quid and we add 20 minutes onto your appointment, or you go private. And do you know what? When I first read it, I was a bit shocked, but I thought, actually, they've got a point, haven't they? Is it?
Like, I didn't find out, but my sister, I thought that was part of going to that scan. Like, I think naturally you think, oh, today I'm finding out what I'm having, not...
So true, because with my second, it's only, then I started to realise that no, they're looking for everything. The fluid in the brain, where with my first, it was just like, I'm going to find out the sex. And that was what the scan was for. It was for the gender, but it wasn't.
Also, if you go private, you can find out sooner.
Yeah, I found out at 16 weeks.
Yeah, like my sister's about, I think, because she's pregnant now, she could have found out last week, but she ended up going to an appointment, but you can find out a lot sooner as well if you go private. I suppose that's a plus about going private.
Yeah. What about people who really want a certain sex? In America, there is a company called Microsort, and basically they take a sperm sample from the dad and they separate them into the Y and the X chromosomes. It's only got about a 70% success rate, but they have like quite a strict list. So you have to have one child already. You've got to basically prove that there is an underrepresentation of a certain gender in the family, and you've got to be negative for certain diseases. But then they will do it as well if perhaps you've got a genetic disease within your family, so you need a certain sex for that. But what do you think about actually playing God and going and choosing gender?
Because I think that this research has been done so that you can cancel out diseases that are genetic diseases in your family. That's what it's for. It shouldn't really be used to work out the gender. I can see why people would want, you know, a different type of sex, but I don't think that you should mess with Mother Nature.
Yeah, I personally think that it's the exciting part to know what you're producing. I don't know, like I think doing what you're meant to have, like I think that it's like in your path to what. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you're saying, like in some of those videos, some mums are like, what am I going to do with a boy? But then actually she's like, I've got a 3-year-old son and it's the best thing ever. Like I can't make myself with a girl. I do think it's like what you're meant to have.
Yeah, and it's proper IVF. So like you'd have to do everything, but if you could just get pregnant naturally, like, you know, that's a lot. It's a lot to do.
Because let's say if I chose what I'd have and then actually I think, oh, what if I was supposed to have?
Some might feel bad.
And then you wanted to speak. I just couldn't live with myself. I just couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't.
Because it is rumoured that Victoria Beckham did this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is rumoured.
To get heart to have heart. You just don't know.
No, you don't
can't. Like papers and stuff. Like I mean, I know myself. They write so much like crap. You don't know what's true and what's not. So it's hard to believe. And then she did have like. It was so big in the press.
But Victoria Beckham hasn't ruled out having a 5th. She said that if it happens, like I would have a 5th one. So
Well, when I gave birth to my son Noah, he was a surprise. And the midwives in the hospital were so excited. They were like, we never get surprises anymore.
But I also think as well, like, some men really want boys. And I think the mum feels under pressure because it's like, and it's like as if it's their fault that they're not. So I think as well, if that's the case in a relationship, I think definitely keep it a surprise, because when that baby's born, whether it's a girl or boy, the dad is unconditionally going to love the baby instantly anyway. But it's that pressure of like early on having a scan and finding out what you're having, and if it's a girl, it's like the dad has to sort of, I don't think it becomes real to dads until you're like about to pop.
Or until they're here, I think, until they can actually see the baby.
And you know, I remember like, because Paul really, really wanted a boy, he's like, as long as I've got my son, you can have 5 girls. Like, he's like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what pressure?
You were under pressure.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's like being a royal family.
Yeah, exactly. But then obviously when I gave birth, girl or boy, at that moment it would not have mattered in the world, because the baby's there and they're healthy. So I think that's probably like a good idea if the guy really wants one sex.
Oh, thank you so much, girls. Well, there you go, gender disappointment. It is a difficult topic and we would love to hear from you, perhaps anonymously if you feel that you can't talk about it. Leave a comment in the section below, or perhaps even make your own video about gender disappointment, what you think about the whole subject, and link us in on our social channels. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Channel Mum so you never miss a thing.